Okay, imagine this. A great spiritual teacher, someone known for, incredible wisdom, and they're suddenly faced with this dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
A question crafted so cleverly, it feels like there's just no right answer. Like any response leads straight into a trap.
Yeah, a real intellectual corner.
Exactly. It sounds dramatic, but it's a real scenario from the ancient texts. And that's where we're going today in our deep dive.
That's right. We're jumping into a really fascinating story from the Pali Suttas, one of the earliest Buddhist scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it's the Abhayarājakumārasuttaṃ.
Okay.
It's got everything: a prince, a rival spiritual leader who's, let's say, pretty cunning, and the Buddha himself. And it all revolves around skillful communication, the art of speaking, really.
Right. And our mission here, I guess, is to dig into the wisdom in this story, because it's not just about, winning a debate, is it?
Not at all. It unfolds into this kind of masterclass.
Yeah.
You see how a question that seems simple about saying unpleasant things actually reveals really deep truths. Truths about compassion, about why we say what we say, and even, what deep understanding really means.
So more than just clever arguments.
Much more. It's about compassion and wisdom in action.
Okay, so set the scene for us. Where does this all kick off?
We're in the ancient Indian city of Rajagaha. The Buddha is staying at a place called the Veduvana Kalandakanivapa, basically, a lovely bamboo grove donated to the Sangha.
Sounds peaceful, but the drama starts somewhere else.
It does. It starts with Prince Abhaya. He doesn't go to the Buddha first. He actually goes to see Nigantha Nātaputta.
And who was he?
Nigantha Nātaputta was a very prominent Jain leader at the time, a major figure, another significant spiritual voice.
Okay, so a potential rival, maybe.
Definitely. And Nigantha Nātaputta sees an opportunity with Prince Abhaya. He sort of goads him, encourages him to go and debate the Buddha.
Why? What's the angle?
Reputation, basically. He tells Abhaya it would earn him great fame. He even suggests a kind of tagline like, Prince Abhaya debates Gautama, the one with such great power. Building it up.
Classic move. Set up a big public showdown.
Precisely. And he doesn't just say, go debate him. He gives Abhaya a very specific question, a killer question, supposedly.
Ah, the trap itself.
Yes, what the text calls the upatoko kai panhan, the two-pronged question. It sounds quite formal, but it's designed to be impossible to answer cleanly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What was the question?
The question Abhaya is supposed to ask the Buddha is this: would the Tathagata speak words that are unpleasant and disagreeable to others? Simple on the surface, right?
Seems simple, but I sense the trap. What are the prongs?
Right. Prong one. If the Buddha says, yes, sometimes I do speak unpleasant words,
Okay.
then Abhaya is told to shoot back. Well, then what's the difference between you and any ordinary person? Everyone says unpleasant things sometimes. It makes the Buddha seem, well, ordinary, unremarkable.
Got it. Undermines his status. And prong two.
Prong two. If the Buddha says no, I never speak words that are unpleasant and disagreeable.
That sounds safer, maybe.
You'd think. But then Abhaya is instructed to say, oh, really? Then why did you say that Devadatta was destined for hell, that he was incurable? Those words definitely angered Devadatta. He was very displeased.
Ah, so it catches him in a contradiction, makes him look like a hypocrite.
Exactly. Either answer seems to lead to public failure. He either sounds ordinary or hypocritical.
Wow, that is cleverly constructed. Nigantha Nātaputta must have felt pretty smug about that one.
Oh, totally. The text says he was incredibly confident. He apparently told Abhaya the Buddha would be completely stuck, unable to swallow or spit out the question. He compared it to getting an iron hook lodged in your throat.
Oof, high stakes indeed. So did Abhaya just go along with this plan?
He did agree to it. Maybe he was ambitious, maybe curious, maybe pressured. Hard to say for sure. So he goes to see the Buddha.
Ready for the confrontation.
Well, not quite. He gets there, sees the Buddha, but then he notices the time. And he thinks, it's probably not the right time of day for a serious debate. A bit late.
Interesting hesitation. So what does he do instead?
Instead of launching into the debate, he invites the Buddha and 3 others, it says, for a meal at his place the next day.
A more respectful approach, then. Did the Buddha accept?
He accepted with silence, which in the suttas is often how the Buddha signifies agreement. No need for words sometimes.
Okay. So the next day arrives. The meal happens.
Yes. The Buddha comes to Prince Abhaya's residence, and Abhaya himself serves the Buddha, apparently a very fine meal, showing proper respect as a host.
Quite a contrast to the planned intellectual ambush.
Definitely sets a different tone. But the question still hangs in the air.
So after the meal.
After the meal, Abhaya sits down respectfully, and then finally he asks it, exactly as Nigantha Nātaputta told him to. Venerable sir, would the Tathagata speak words that are unpleasant and disagreeable to others?
The moment of truth, all that buildup. How does the Buddha respond? Does he say yes or no?
Neither. This is where it gets really skillful. His first response is just, not necessarily one-sided, O Prince.
Not necessarily one-sided. What does that even mean in this context?
It immediately breaks the forced yes-no structure of the trap. It signals, look, reality and my speech isn't that black and white. It's not a simple dichotomy.
How did Abhaya react to that? That wasn't in Nigantha Naputta's script.
Exactly. Abhaya is clearly taken aback. He actually says something like, well, the Niganthas are lost now. He basically admits they wouldn't know what to make of that answer.
Huh. So he spills the beans?
He does. Maybe out of surprise or confusion, he just lays out the whole plan. He tells the Buddha exactly what Nigantha Nātaputta had instructed him to do, the whole two-pronged trap, the iron hook analogy, everything.
Wow. So now the Buddha knows the entire context, the intention behind the question.
Precisely. He understands it wasn't an innocent inquiry.
So, knowing the trap, how does the Buddha proceed after saying not necessarily one-sided? He needs to explain that, right?
Yes. And his explanation is just masterful. It shifts the whole ground of the debate. He doesn't focus on just truth versus falsehood or pleasant versus unpleasant in isolation. He brings in compassion.
How does he do that?
He notices something. There's a young child, an infant, lying on Prince Abhaya's lap. Very young, described as weak.
Okay.
And the Buddha asks Abhaya a question. He says, Prince, what would you do if this child, through carelessness, put a stick or a pebble in its mouth?
Right. A very practical, relatable scenario for a parent or guardian. What does Abhaya say?
Abhaya says immediately, I'd get it out, venerable sir.
Makes sense.
Then the Buddha pushes a bit. Even if it was difficult, even if you couldn't get it out easily, maybe you had to, hold the child's head firmly, use a finger, even if it caused the child pain or drew blood.
That's quite graphic. What's
Yeah.
Abhaya's answer then?
Abhaya confirms, yes, venerable sir, I would, even if it caused pain and blood. And then comes the crucial part. The Buddha asks why. Why would he cause the child pain?
And Abhaya's reason.
Abhaya says, because, venerable sir, I have compassion for the child. That's the linchpin, compassion.
Ah, I see where this is going. The unpleasant action, like removing the pebble, is motivated by care, by wanting the best for the child.
Exactly. It reframes unpleasantness. Sometimes something that feels unpleasant in the moment is actually the most compassionate course of action. And the Buddha uses this analogy directly to explain his own principles of speech.
Okay, so how does he connect that back to the original question about unpleasant words? Does he lay out rules?
He does. He outlines 6 categories, or maybe better thought of as principles, for his speech. It's incredibly clear.
6. Okay, let's break them down. What's the first one?
First, words that the Tathagata knows are untrue, incorrect, and unbeneficial. And it doesn't matter if they're pleasant or unpleasant to hear, he never speaks such words.
Okay, so no lies, nothing incorrect, nothing useless. Makes sense. What's next?
Second, words that he knows are true and correct, but are still unbeneficial. Again, pleasant or unpleasant doesn't matter here. If they don't lead to benefit, he doesn't speak them either.
Interesting. So even truth isn't enough. It has to be useful truth.
That's a key point. Truth alone isn't the sole criterion. Benefit matters immensely.
Right. So what about the difficult truths? The Devadatta situation.
That comes next. Third category. Words he knows are true, correct, and beneficial, but they are unpleasant and disagreeable to the listener.
Ah, like the Devadatta prediction.
Exactly. He says he knows the right time to speak such words. It's not gratuitous unpleasantness. It's spoken when timely and necessary for the ultimate benefit, even if it stings in the moment.
Timeliness is another crucial factor then. Truth, benefit, timing.
Absolutely. And the fourth category mirrors this.
Which is?
Fourth, words he knows are true, correct, beneficial, and also happen to be pleasant and agreeable to the listener.
The ideal combination, maybe.
You could say that. And again, he emphasizes he knows the right time to speak these words too. Even pleasant truths need proper timing to be effective.
So are categories 5 and 6 just variations? The text mentions 6.
Right. The way it's often presented breaks down those first 2 categories further, essentially saying, 1, untrue, unbeneficial, unpleasant, never speaks. 2, untrue, unbeneficial, pleasant, never speaks. Covers category 1, my summary. 3, true, unbeneficial, unpleasant, never speaks. 4, true, unbeneficial, pleasant, never speaks. Covers category 2 in my summary. 5, true, beneficial, unpleasant, speaks at the right time. Category 3. 6, true, beneficial, pleasant. Speaks at the right time. Category 4. 6, true, beneficial, pleasant. So it's really emphasizing that anything untrue or unbeneficial is out, regardless of pleasantness. Only true and beneficial speech is used, and always with an eye on the right time.
Got it. That's a very comprehensive framework. Truth, benefit, timeliness. And what's the underlying driver for all of this careful consideration?
He states it explicitly, circling right back to the analogy. He says, "Why is this, O Prince? Because the Tathagata has compassion for beings."
Just like Abhaya's compassion for the child.
Precisely. That compassion is the ultimate guide. It completely dissolves Nigantha Nātaputta's simplistic dilemma. The Buddha's speech isn't about pleasing people or avoiding offense arbitrarily. It's about genuinely helping beings, based on truth, benefit, timing, and driven by compassion.
That completely reframes the whole idea of unpleasant speech. It's not about being mean or careless. It's about compassionate action, even when it's difficult.
You've got it. It's a profound shift in perspective.
Prince Abhaya must have been pretty impressed by this point. Did he have more questions?
He was definitely impressed.
Yeah.
And yes, he asks a really insightful follow-up question. It goes beyond just what the Buddha says to how he knows what to say.
Okay. What did he ask?
He asks something like, when wise people, scholars, Brahmins from all different backgrounds come and ask you questions, do you have your answers sort of pre-prepared? Have you thought them out beforehand? Or do the answers just come to you spontaneously in the moment?
Oh, that's a great question. Is it intellectual preparation or intuitive wisdom?
Exactly. It gets to the nature of the Buddha's understanding. And again, the Buddha uses an analogy.
Another one. He's good with analogies.
Very good. This time, he turns it back on Abhaya. He asks him, Prince, are you skilled in the different parts of a chariot?
And Abhaya was a prince, likely involved with military matters or transport?
Right. Abhaya confirms, yes, he's very skilled. He says he's known as a charioteer. He knows all the parts intimately.
Okay, established expert. Then what?
Then the Buddha asks, so, Prince, when people ask you about the various parts of a chariot, do you have the answers worked out in your head beforehand? Or do they just arise spontaneously when you're asked?
Turning the question back using Abhaya's own expertise. However, what does Abhaya say?
Abhaya replies, Venerable sir, because I am known as a skilled charioteer, and I know all the parts so well, the answers arise spontaneously. He doesn't need to prep. The knowledge is just there, integrated.
Right. If you know something inside out, you don't need notes.
Precisely. And the Buddha draws the parallel immediately. He says, just like Abhaya can spontaneously answer about chariots because he's mastered them, the Buddha's answers arise spontaneously because the Dhammata, which is a complex term, but you can think of it as the fundamental nature of reality. The essence of the Dhamma is well penetrated by him.
So it's not about memorizing answers. It's about such a deep, fundamental understanding of how things are that the appropriate response just emerges naturally.
Exactly. It points to a wisdom that's intuitive, deep, and fully integrated, not just intellectual or prepared knowledge. It's a lived understanding.
Wow. That's quite a statement about the depth of his realization. How did Prince Abhaya take all this? First the speech explanation, now this about spontaneous wisdom.
He seems completely won over, profoundly moved. The text describes him expressing deep admiration. He uses this beautiful classic set of metaphors.
Oh, like what?
He says the Buddha's teaching is like turning upright what was overturned, like revealing what was hidden, like showing the path to someone who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the darkness so those with eyes can see forms.
That's incredibly poetic. It sounds like a genuine moment of insight for him.
It really does. It suggests a fundamental shift in his understanding, a real clarification.
And what was the result of this whole encounter? Did he just say, thanks for the meal and the chat?
No, it was much more significant. As a direct result of this conversation, this deep dive into the Buddha's wisdom and compassion, Prince Abhaya declares that he takes refuge.
Takes refuge, meaning?
Meaning he formally commits himself. He takes refuge in the Buddha, the teacher, the Dhamma, the teachings, the reality the Buddha understood, and the Sangha, the community of followers. He declares himself a lay follower, basically, from that day forward for the rest of his life.
So he went in carrying a trap designed by someone else and came out a committed follower.
Yes, a complete transformation prompted by this encounter. It shows the power of the Buddha's skillful and compassionate way of teaching.
That's quite a story. From a cunning trap to a profound realization.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it packs so much wisdom into a relatively short narrative.
So if we were to boil down the key takeaways from this deep dive into the Abhayarājakumārasuttaṃ, what stands out most?
Well, I think first is that skillful communication, wise speech, It's not just about being nice or avoiding conflict. Sometimes the truth is unpleasant,
Right.
but the key is the motivation and the conditions. Is it true? Is it actually beneficial? Is now the right time to say it? And overarching everything, is it driven by genuine compassion?
That blend seems crucial. Truth, benefit, timeliness, compassion.
Absolutely. And the second big takeaway for me is about wisdom itself. That deep understanding, the kind the Buddha demonstrated, isn't just about knowing facts or preparing arguments. It's about that well-penetrated grasp of reality,
Yeah.
an intuitive depth that allows answers to arise spontaneously and appropriately.
Less about intellect, more about deep seeing.
Something like that, yeah.
Mm.
A profound, integrated knowing.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about our own conversations, especially the difficult ones.
For sure.
So here's something maybe to chew on after this. Think about the conversations you have, day to day, work, family, friends. How might things change if you consciously tried to apply those filters? Truth, benefit, timeliness, and especially compassion.
Mm-mm.
What happens to those arguments that seem impossible, those dilemmas where you feel trapped, like Prince Abhaya? Could approaching them with that kind of nuanced wisdom, guided by compassion, actually dissolve the trap altogether? Could it lead to understanding instead of just conflict?
It's a powerful question to ask ourselves. How can we bring that kind of skillful awareness into our own speech?
Definitely food for thought.